The one sentence that changes everything. Imagine this. Someone disrespects you, maybe in a meeting, maybe in public, maybe right in front of people whose opinion matters. Your heart starts racing, your mind goes blank. And later that night, you replay the moment thinking, I should have said something. But what if I told you, you don't need a long speech, you don't need anger, you don't need to win the argument. You just need one sentence, a calm, powerful, psychologically smart response that instantly shifts the dynamic in your favor. Because here's the truth. The way you respond to disrespect teaches people how to treat you. And in this article, you're going to learn exactly what to say, why it works, and how to use it like a pro, whether you're in the workplace, social settings, or dealing with toxic people. Say this one sentence when someone disrespects you. I don't appreciate being spoken to that way. Simple, calm, direct, powerful. This one sentence is not just words, it's a boundary. And according to psychology, setting clear boundaries is one of the most effective ways to stop disrespectful behavior because it signals self-respect and emotional control. Why disrespect happens in the first place. The psychology behind disrespect. Let's be real for a second. Most people think disrespect is personal, but psychology tells a different story. In many cases, disrespect is not about you at all. It's often a reflection of the other person's internal state, their stress, insecurity, frustration, or even their need for control. Experts explain that when someone behaves rudely or dismissively, it often stems from their own unresolved issues rather than your actual worth. Think of it like this. A person who is internally calm and confident doesn't need to belittle others, but someone who feels threatened, they may try to assert dominance through subtle or obvious disrespect. There's also a biological angle. Research shows that when someone experiences incivility, it can trigger a fight-or-flight response, activating stress systems in the body. That's why you feel your heart pounding or your face heating up when someone crosses the line. So the real battle isn't just external, it's internal. It's about controlling your reaction while still standing your ground. Insecurity and power dynamics. Disrespect is often a power move. In workplaces, social circles, or even friendships, people sometimes test boundaries to see what they can get away with. If you stay silent, you unknowingly signal that the behavior is acceptable. That's why some individuals repeatedly interrupt, talk over you, or make passive-aggressive comments. They're probing your limits. And here's the uncomfortable truth. If you don't set boundaries, people will create them for you. The cost of staying silent. Mental health impact. Ignoring disrespect might feel like the mature thing to do, but over time, it comes at a cost. Studies show that workplace disrespect is one of the top contributors to stress, with a significant percentage of people reporting increased anxiety and emotional exhaustion because of it. When you don't address disrespect, your self-esteem slowly declines. You begin to overthink interactions. You replay conversations in your head. You lose confidence in speaking up. It's like carrying invisible weight that gets heavier over time. Long-term social consequences. Silence doesn't just affect your mental health, it shapes your reputation. People subconsciously categorize others based on behavior. If you tolerate disrespect repeatedly, you may be seen as someone who is easy to overlook, interrupt, or undervalue. On the flip side, people who calmly assert themselves are often perceived as confident, respectable, emotionally intelligent, difficult to manipulate. That's the power of one sentence. The power of one sentence. Why simple responses work better. You might think you need a clever comeback or a long explanation. You don't. In fact, the more you talk, the more you risk losing control of your emotions, sounding defensive, escalating the situation. A short, clear sentence works because it removes confusion. It doesn't attack, it doesn't insult, it simply sets a boundary. And boundaries are powerful because they shift the focus from the other person's behavior to your standard. Emotional control versus emotional reaction. When someone disrespects you, your instinct is to react, either with anger or silence. But the real power lies in response, not reaction. Reaction equals emotional, impulsive, often regretful. Response equals calm, intentional, controlled. By saying, "I don't appreciate being spoken to that way," you're doing something rare. You're staying calm and standing firm. That combination is intimidating in the best way possible. Breaking down the sentence. I don't appreciate. This part is key. You're not accusing. You're not attacking. You're expressing your experience. It keeps the conversation grounded and prevents the other person from becoming defensive. It also signals emotional intelligence. You're aware of your feelings, and you're communicating them clearly. Being spoken to that way. This part focuses on behavior, not the person. You're not saying, "You're rude," "You're disrespectful." Instead, you're addressing the action, which makes it easier for the other person to adjust without feeling personally attacked. This is what makes the sentence so effective. It's firm, but not aggressive. When and how to use it. Workplace situations. Imagine this scenario. Your coworker interrupts you mid-sentence during a meeting and dismisses your idea. Instead of staying quiet or snapping back, you calmly say, "I don't appreciate being spoken to that way. I'd like to finish my point." What happens? The room goes silent. The attention shifts back to you. You regain control of the situation. And, most importantly, you've set a boundary in front of others. Social or personal situations. Now, picture a friend making a sarcastic or disrespectful comment in a group setting. Instead of laughing it off or getting angry, you respond, "I don't appreciate being spoken to that way." No drama, no argument, just clarity. And that clarity forces the other person to either respect your boundary or expose their own behavior. Common mistakes people make. Reacting with anger. Anger feels powerful in the moment, but it often backfires. When you react emotionally, you lose credibility. The situation escalates. The focus shifts away from the disrespect, and suddenly you're the problem. Ignoring repeated disrespect. On the other hand, ignoring disrespect repeatedly sends a dangerous message. It's okay to treat me this way. And once that pattern is established, it becomes much harder to break. Advanced variations of the sentence. Polite version. I'd appreciate it if you spoke to me respectfully. Assertive version. That tone isn't acceptable. Let's keep this respectful. Professional version. Let's keep this conversation respectful and productive. Each version works in different situations, but the core idea remains the same. Clear, calm boundaries. What happens after you say it? Possible reactions. When you use this sentence, you'll usually see one of three reactions. They back off immediately, they try to justify themselves, they double down. Each reaction tells you something about the person. How to stay in control. No matter what happens next, your job is simple. Stay calm. Don't over-explain. Repeat your boundary if needed. Remember, you're not trying to win an argument. You're setting a standard. Real-life scenarios and examples. Workplace example. Your boss criticizes you harshly in front of others. Instead of shrinking or reacting emotionally, you say, "I don't appreciate being spoken to that way. I'm open to feedback, but let's keep it professional." Now you've done two things: asserted your boundary, reinforced your professionalism. Social example. Someone makes a disrespectful joke about you in a group. You calmly respond, "I don't appreciate being spoken to that way." No smile, no sarcasm, just calm confidence. That's how you command respect without demanding it. Disrespect is inevitable, but how you respond to it? That's entirely in your control. You don't need to be loud. You don't need to be aggressive. You don't need to prove anything. You just need one sentence. "I don't appreciate being spoken to that way." Because the moment you say it, something shifts. Not just in the other person, but in you. You stop seeking respect and start setting the standard for it.